Yeah. Now we'll look at working with workbooks. Let's say I want to, the same logic, I want to save them to different workbooks itself. A folder probably. Let's say I'll create one folder here in the E drive, right? I'll create a new folder in the E drive. Let's say calling it as player data. Some folder I am creating, and all the files of this of each of these players, I want to take them into that folder, probably with a timestamp and everything also. I want to take them into that particular folder, right? All right. So again, we can take the help of the same stuff, right? Probably small changes only are required. So what I'll do is this same sub, whatever we had, I'll take this same sub probably into a new module, where this time I call it as working with workbooks. So here if I'm asking you to do it, what do you typically do? Every time any player is created, first we will, for each player, I'll first create one new Excel file. That Excel file, I'll call it by the player name. So there is no question of creating a worksheet now. I have to create a new workbook. So that's where I'll define dim some WB as workbook, right? So I have to create a new workbook now. So some instance, some object of that workbook called WB is what I am calling. So which means once I get the name of the player, where am I getting the name of the player? This is the name of the player, right? What I will have to do is the same thing I can do here for each, or probably let's say we'll not look at the error handling to start with. We'll come to the error handling later. So once the player name is identified, I will create a workbook. So I say WB, set WB is equal to workbooks, so not worksheets here, workbooks.add. So I will create a new workbook, right? And this workbook's name, or probably let's not put the workbook name here. I'll simply add a new workbook here, right? So because there is no error handling, I don't need even this part. Sheet 1 and all that stuff. So I can directly select the sheet 1 of that, right? I'm adding a new workbook, right? So I'm setting WB equal to new workbook. No, this may not be a good thing, right? When I typically have to paste, what will I do if I have to do it into a new file? First, let's say I copy this entire data, Control C, manually if I am doing. Copy this data, Control C, open a new Excel file, correct? Open a new Excel file. I'm having some problem with the, okay, I'll see what is happening. Open a new Excel file and paste it into that location. That is what is the typical thing which we tend to do. Manually, if we have to do this, this is what we typically try to do. So the same process has to come in here. First the copy process is happening. Then a new workbook creation process should come. Correct? Then finally after I paste the data, I'll do a save as. That is what I do manually when I do it. Okay. But let me see, before that it is throwing some errors for a new sheet that I am opening. As a process, I do not want to add the workbook here. Only after I do the copying of the data, right? Manually we have to see first of all what is the steps I am doing. So I am copying the data from the existing. So the copying of the data, where is it happening? Selection.copy. The copying of the data is happening at this level. So this is at this place. I will simply say set WB equal to, so I have copied the data. After that I am opening a new workbook. Set WB is equal to workbooks.add. I have added a new workbook, right? So in that active workbook, I am doing a sheet1.select. In that sheet 1 I am pasting, right? So in that sheet 1 I am selecting the cells 1, 1 and I am doing a pasting. And probably if the graph is also required, I am even doing the graphing part of it also. And after this entire thing is over, I am saving that workbook. So WB dot save as. I have save as. WB dot save as, where I will give the file name. So I will say file name is equal to, okay, I need the path. Okay, otherwise I can directly say file name is equal to E/, what is the name of the folder we have given? E/player data. E/player data slash, and I'll say player name, whatever is the name of that player, and again I'll put .xlsx. You save this file like this, right? So a new sheet will be created. In that the player's corresponding data will be pasted, a chart would be plotted, and after that there is a saving of that file happening, and it has to be closed also. It has to be saved and then it has to be closed. So I'll say wb.close. That's how it has to continue for each player. Let's check if some problem is there, we'll test it out, right? So manually that is what we are doing, right? If I have to do for 200 people, for each person I'll copy the data from the corresponding location, correct? Once I copy the data, then I'll open a fresh sheet. In that sheet, in the sheet 1 or fresh file, in that file in the sheet 1 I am pasting the data. After that, that file I am saving as something, and after that I am closing it. Then only another thing can happen. So let's try it. If there is some issue, we should anyhow be looking at it. Okay, something is happening. You see now? You see the new files are getting created. The names. The files are getting created with that person's names. And you can easily write to that folder. All of them will get. So daily if you have to do this exercise, whatever data you have, you create them as